Offenders, when they commit crimes, can't help but give us clues about who they are, where they've been, what their prior relationships look like, what their future relationships are likely to look like. So those kinds of things can give us very important clues in how to search for him and how he's likely to behave when we encounter him, which is also very important. I worked on the Zodiac case a number of times during my service to the California Department of Justice. I worked with the detectives from various agencies that are involved in the case, some more than others, and I had read many of the reports before I was asked to take another look at it rather recently. Well, I think I have better ideas currently on some things that could be done. I think I have a clearer vision of the kind of person that we're actually looking for. I have changed my mind about what might possibly have happened to the Zodiac after he dropped out of sight in 1974. Well, we're looking for somebody who very much was capable of keeping a secret. I don't think that this individual is the type of person who needed to confide in another person. He was very much a loner. I think it's important to note that these crimes occurred on the weekends or on holidays. He was a weekend offender, and that shows us that he was employed Monday through Friday, and he was very busy during those days. He was not free to commit crimes. He was not free to hunt for victims. So he lived a structured life, and then Monday through Friday, and then on weekends, he seems to have been adrift. And I think he spent a great deal of time driving around and looking and hunting and fantasizing about what he was going to do when he got the opportunity. I think another important point here is that the time between crimes decreased significantly. If you look at the pattern, the first crime occurred on December 20th of 1968. The second crime occurred on July 4th, 1969. The next crime, September 27th. So we're looking at a shorter period of time. The next crime on October 11th, only 2 weeks. And so again, this supports the likelihood that the Zodiac's confidence level is increasing very rapidly over the course of these 10.5 months. And then he basically is done committing crimes. And he shifts his focus and his energy into the communications. It's been our experience that offenders who hunt, who spend their time hunting, do not spend their time talking. When we have an offender who spends a lot of time talking, they are spending less time hunting. The analysis of his communications was the pivotal element in my changing my mind, looking at the evolution of his communications, getting a better understanding of what his motivation was for the communications, and then his final communication, looking at that and realizing how much he changed, and his sense of himself changed.
How so?
He came to see himself as a citizen. That's what he called himself. He signed his final communication, a citizen. Not to diminish the tragedy of these crimes or any series of violent crimes, but when you step back and you think about what was the purpose of the crimes, what was the emotional payoff for this offender? And really, I think it was to establish himself as being an important, newsworthy person. It was almost like a bizarre marketing technique. In fact, I think that answers one of the primary controversies in this case. Why did he target 3 couples and then switch to a cab driver? how does that make sense? He wanted to be famous in San Francisco, and that's what really, I think, necessitated his targeting of a cab driver. While he was committing his crimes, there were very few communications. It was after his murder of Paul Stein that he became very involved in communicating with the media, because at that point he had established himself as being important and newsworthy, and he very much enjoyed that. And I also believe that it's quite possible that he dropped out of sight and changed his life and may still be alive, living a conventional lifestyle.